draft's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff. But
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon, you want one quick question?
We can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.
Oh, what's up? What's up? What's up? I have to get this right, man. My name is Rashad Milligan. If you are new to the channel, this is the road to 5K subs. Let me see how to get this screen right. Screen is this the okay? That's extremely strange. But yeah, we're here, man. You know what I'm saying? Welcome back. I had it like off the whole time on the Dalen interview. That was weird and stuff, but yeah, hey, we here. The baby's recording his verse right now on DDG stream. So if you're really tuned in right now to my stream, I really appreciate that. Times a gazillion. We got a couple day break between the NCAA tournament when the games get back kicked up and things of that sort. So it's just a lot of NBA right now. And of course, the biggest news in the NBA is LeBron James today. At the time I'm recording this, it is March 26th, Wednesday. LeBron hit the game-winning putback in Indiana. It was a game where he struggled offensively. He only ended up with 13 points and 13 rebounds, but he had the most important 2 points and most important rebound at the end of the game, following a Luka Doncic miss, and it was just a putback, and it put the Lakers up at the buzzer over Indiana. So while Bron was in Indiana, of course, he stopped by on the Pat McAfee show for a conversation that lasted about an hour. It was the LeBron conversation was the hashtag. And, you know, it was weird because LeBron doesn't act normally. It was an hour and 12 minutes. Wow, that's crazy. LeBron doesn't act normal. Like, you know how most NBA players, they would do something like that and everything, go on Pat McAfee, like Tyrese Halliburton goes on there a lot. Like Aaron Rodgers is kind of like a big deal on how he goes on there a lot and kind of uses that as a safe space. And ESPN banned him for a year and he came back and just kind of did the same stuff he was doing beforehand. You know, it was a different choice, especially considering the fact that, you know, he's beefing currently right now or publicly feuding with Stephen A. Smith, but it was a strategic move. Shout out to Malik Brown, my guy Malik Brown. As he says, everything LeBron does is very calculated and is very just like he knows what he's doing. So I think in this psychological war of him going against Stephen A. Smith, because that obviously bothered him, right? Like it bothered him to the point where he didn't call him up and do it in private. He pulled up on him at the game in person because he wanted the crowd to see it, and he wanted to really prove the point to Stephen A. that he didn't like him, how he was talking about Bronny and things of that sort. So it showed then. And then Stephen A. responds on First Take, the initial time, and he said, "You proved my point." He said, you know, because Stephen A. was like, hey, you're the reason why the NBA is like this, and you're the one that didn't participate in the dunk contest, and you're the one that made the decision to go to Miami, and you're the one to do all of these things. Like he just continued proving the point. He's like, you're not better than Michael Jordan, and you're the reason why the NBA didn't load management is a thing. Like he was just doing all of this. And LeBron said, you're proving my point. Instead of talking about the games, instead of talking about OKC and Cleveland, what we're talking about instead is me versus Jordan and my son. Like, it's stupid. It doesn't make sense. And LeBron has a great point. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, the Bronny story makes sense to talk about it when he's first drafted because it's history. And it makes sense to talk about the first game because it's history. But after that, man, you're talking about a number 55 pick over, you know, every other rookie. You know, Missy over in New Orleans had a moment a couple months ago, late January, early February, where it was looking like he was going to be in the Rookie of the Year race. Stephon Castle has kind of like sailed to the top of the Rookie of the Year conversations. The kid from the kid over there in Philly, he looked like he was going to be the Rookie of the Year early on in the season after making so many headlines going into the draft for painting his fingernails and doing the TikToks and making vlogs and kind of being an influencer. And he was the coldest one out the draft class. And the number one pick, who everybody said is a bad draft, he's a boring number one pick, he's going to be worse than Anthony Bennett, turned out to be something. And he's like getting better every game. And he kind of reminds you of like what some people said before the draft, which was remnants of Klay Thompson. He doesn't get mentioned at all in First Take. Alex Sarr, the number 2 pick over in Washington, is coming along. He doesn't get mentioned by First Take at all. The first 2 picks, the 2 7-footers from France, one with American ties, with going to OTE, which is another conversation. OTE has birthed the Thompson twins, and this Alex Sarr kid. Those are the biggest. Of course, they produce other guys like Rob Dillingham and Barlow over there in Atlanta. But it's like, yo, OTE, this whole thing, they took a chance, and it was inspired by LeVar Ball and JBA. Don't get it twisted. But OTE's got this whole big thing going on, and it's like mention that, what I'm saying? The Thompson twins are doing something amazing. Both of them are kind of progressing at the same time. They're putting in the work at the same time. They're having breakout moments. Speaking of the Thompson twins, what about Houston, just in general, other than just mentioning them in a laundry list when you're mentioning teams that are good in the league or good in the Western Conference? How about doing an entire segment on Houston? How about doing an entire segment on Jalen Green and Sengun and like I said, the Thompson twin, Amin, and just everybody have Jabari. He's coming along and stuff like that. They got a good young team over there, a good young nucleus with Fred VanVleet as the vet, Dylan Brooks as a vet, Steven Adams as a vet. All these guys, they have a pretty decent thing going on, a cool thing going on in a competitive Western Conference. And that's not being talked about or spoken about enough. It's just, just things like that. It's like there's a wider spectrum. It's kind of the same thing in the W, right? So it's like in the W, people on a wide scale, Caitlin Clark brings in the most views, and she brings in the most ratings and stuff like that. And it's all about ratings because that's the business you're in TV. And as Stephen A. always says, I'm the number 1 show on ESPN. It's me. I'm the number 1 personality. You know what they come for? To see what they want to, like he does all of that, right? But at the same time, it's like your job is also to speak about sports in general. And it's like, how often do they even mention baseball if it's not about the Yankees? You know what I'm saying? It's things like that where, you kind of fall off the face of the earth with baseball and hockey. If you're not if you're not careful following just ESPN and following First Take every day, 365 days a year, it's just something. It's a lot of holes in it, and that's all LeBron was trying to say. And it's like Stephen A. just ignored that, and then he went on this, like he said, press tour. Where he went on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, he went on his own podcast, and he was just saying, like, LeBron, I wasn't going to talk about this, and LeBron was like, you knew it was going to be recorded, you knew it was going to go viral and things of that sort, because LeBron knew it was going to be going back to LeBron is very calculated. Shout out Malik Brown once again, but all of these things are going on, and yeah, man, it's just like, LeBron did that, went on Pat McAfee, went on ESPN. Purposely went on someone who's not directly tied to Stephen A. to talk about Stephen A. and to talk about Windhorse. The Windhorse thing, when he said he's weird, he's acting like my best friend. I don't think Windhorse, to defend Windhorse has never claimed to be LeBron's best friend. He never claimed all of that. All Wendy said was literally that just he's known of LeBron and known LeBron for a long time. He's been covering him since high school. That's all Wendy said and claimed. Obviously he did say the thing of he wanted to sign with Nike to be like Jordan, and he's wearing 23 to be like Jordan because like Reebok was offering him more money. Now, see, that's up to he disputed that, but I mean, like, it makes sense to me, in my opinion. And LeBron kind of said that, where he was like, no, I signed because I wanted to think about what am I gonna wear away from the thing, and what I'm gonna wear is Jordans. I want to wear Jordans. I want to wear Griffies. And he started naming all these Nike athletes. I want to wear Deons and these and that off the court. And it's like, you kind of just said what Windhorse said. So that was interesting. And I think one of the more interesting things, he did Shaq when he said the thing about, hold on, let me pull it up of what he said exactly, because he had some words. There was like a direct diss to Shaq, and I was like, yo, that's your teammate. It's crazy. He said, there's so many guys out here talking about the game that don't know the game. Hold on, let me pull this up on my thing and pull it up on the screen for you all. But he was saying, so he essentially said there's so many guys that's talking about the game right now that don't know about the game. Even if they played, they were just kind of bigger and stronger than everybody else and naturally talented at the game. And then they were kind of done. And he said the reason why I'm still going 20 years in is because of my mind. I actually know the game, which is kind of crazy statement, but he really popping it and he's speaking his mind. We appreciate the honesty because, you know, for the past 2 years, it's been a meme on how much he's been lying everywhere in old interviews, new interviews, and all of these things and stuff like that. So I do appreciate the honesty. But like he was kind of like dressing up the entire interview like he was being mature and he doesn't pay attention to stuff when at the end of the day it's like he's human just like everybody else. And he does hear the stuff and the stuff does bother him and he does want to pop back and he's clapping back at a lot of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? He says there's so many guys out here talking about basketball that don't know the game. That's why I'm still able to play 40 years old because of my mind. And he played with Shaq, you know, as you guys know, in Cleveland. It seemed like that was going to be the year. I think it was like 2010. And it seemed like that was going to be the year that LeBron got his first title, one of his last years in Cleveland, if not his last year in Cleveland. And it didn't work out that way because Shaq just had that kind of effect on the smaller player who was a star. And yeah. Hold on. Let me pull this up, y'all. And I think honestly, sadly, put the biggest thing to come out of this era of LeBron and Shaq in Cleveland is the Kevin Hart special. All right, because that really broke and changed Kevin Hart's career. I think Kev said he did that for free because Shaq just needed another person for his comedy special or his comedy show, you know, the Shaq Comedy Fun House or Comedy Weekend, Comedy Jam, whatever it's called and stuff like that. And that's really what got Kevin Hart on. I think that's the best thing to come out of this kind of relationship, this era of LeBron and Shaq and stuff like that. It was unfortunate that it happened so late in Shaq's career because I would have loved to see like the end of Phoenix Shaq with LeBron, where Shaq still had a bit of it left. But this is definitely a shot. Like the more I think about it, it's even a shot because he's talking about I'm still able to play late in my career, 40 years old, 20 years in, because I know the game. Might be a direct shot to playing with Shaq directly of how Shaq wasn't able to play at the level that he was always able to play at because he was just in his prime, just more athletic and more talented and bigger than everybody else. That is crazy. I know a lot of people might not discuss that just straight up, but that's insane. It was his second to last season. I'm already sharing the tab. Cool. I'm on it. Good stuff, Rashad. Hold on, let me go out. Here we go. Scroll down. Okay, cool. So he averaged 12 points. He averaged 6.7. He ain't even averaged 9 rebounds. He averaged 23 minutes. Oh, yeah, he was done. He only played 53 games. Oh, man. So he missed nearly 30 games. He only played 23 minutes a game. He averaged 12 and 6. He did average over a block, though. So he did average over a block. You have to give him credit for that. But, man, oh, man. This is 100% a shot at Shaq. These are the things that you have to like pay attention to if you like pay attention to the stuff that he said. Like it was a lot of stuff that LeBron said. Once again, LeBron is extremely calculated. So it's a lot of stuff, small stuff that he said that you just have to kind of catch if you're paying attention to. The biggest thing, one of the biggest things that stood out to me in this interview, fresh off of having the Wilt Chamberlain debate again with my friends, how I think Wilt is better than LeBron James. He's better than Nikola Jokic, and he's better than Stephen Curry. It's like he said, you can't compare eras because it's different stuff going on in each era. And then he went on to compare eras. He was like, oh, yeah, you know, if Giannis played in the 70s, he would score 250 points in a game. It's like, bro, you just said don't compare errors. Let things be great for what they are, which is another way of just pleading your case of why people should believe you're the GOAT. I don't know. It's a lot of things. Like with Bron, I ain't gonna lie to you. Bron, as a person, he a cool dude. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Bron is cool. Bron will talk to you about his greatness. He'll answer anything. At the same time, it's like I ain't even gonna lie to you. Forget it. I'll rock with it. I'll rock with it. I just changed my mind in the middle of that statement. I'll rock with it. Because what is Jordan gonna do? Jordan gonna plead his case and try to sway you his way of making you believe he's the greatest of all time. They said Jordan and Wilt were at the NBA, what was that, 25 or 50? NBA 25 or 50, yelling at each other. Rest in peace, Bill Walton. Bill Walton told that story, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and Jordan still does it, where Jordan's still defending his legacy, bro. Where Jordan is still saying, "Oh, this and that." Whoa, whoa. I got Kobe over LeBron because Kobe got 5, Bron only got 4. You know what I'm saying? But man, right here with this thing right here, this meeting, Bill Walton said they was like banging on the table and yelling at each other about who was the greatest player of all time, man. And I love that energy. Rest in peace, Wilt, the Dipper, man, the Big Dipper, man. Shout out. I have been doing the Aaron the Plumber. Know what I'm saying? Big Dipper, Will Chamberlain, all of these things and stuff like that. But this is big stuff, man. This is big stuff. This is just GOAT talk. To be honest, GOAT talk. Everybody pleading their GOAT case. Kobe did the same thing. Kobe played in the Drew League, and he said, what he say? He said, Kobe said, nah, do it again. Me, Mike, Will. Me, Mike, Wilt to the fan. That's what he did, bro. So that's what all the greats are doing. So I can't even complain that he's doing this way and things of that sort. I think it's just, it's just Bron's turn to do it. He an old head. He at the end of his career. He just stayed in his career. He just stayed in his GOAT case. So like I can't, fault it. I do think he's kind of like masking it a bit more, like, you know what I'm saying? Like other people, they can mask it and that really show like, I'm making a case that I'm the GOAT. It's kind of like they just do it and they're like, if you know what's going on, you know what's going on. So that is a bit, kind of can come across as manipulative. But if you read between the lines, it's just obvious what he's doing. He's just pleading this GOAT case. Hold on, give me a second. But yeah, justice for Wilt Chamberlain, 100%. Wilt Chamberlain continues to get more and more disrespected as time goes on. And I don't think you can just look over the fact that this man averaged 50 points and 20 rebounds in a season and then came back and led the league in assists, even though it was only 8.5 assists, but he led the league in assists because people said that he couldn't pass. He's just a ball hog. He just shot everything. And if you look at his highlights, the way that he moves up the court, the way that he does chase down blocks and then comes back and then leads to fast break, it looks like LeBron. And he was doing this with less weights, less resources, no references, no reference point. That's the main thing that I'm saying in all of this. It's like there's no reference point for these guys. So when you say like, oh, if you drop Kyrie in the zone, they're going to send him to the witch trials. No. Kyrie wouldn't be like that if Kyrie was born in the 40s, bro. He would look like John Havlicek or Bob Cousy because that's the only reference points that they had back then. Like what they were doing was groundbreaking, and it looks normal to us now because like the next generation, Pistol Pete had John Havlicek and Bob Cousy to look after, right? And he drew inspiration from those guys, and then he took from them, and then like you could say Steve Nash or White Chocolate, right? Jason Williams looked at what Pete Maravich did, and they brought that like flair to passing, and Stephon Marbury and those guys. And then you have a guy like a Stevie Franchise who comes straight out the street. You have a guy like Rafer Alston, who is literally N1 street ball legend in the NBA. And you got kids that grew up watching Hot Sauce and Skip to Malou and Ayo and the Professor on N1 mixtapes on ESPN2 on Saturday mornings, on Sunday mornings, right? They grew up watching that, and then you get Kyrie Irving. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's an effect. It's a trickle down effect. When you think of like kids who grew up, their favorite games are NBA Ballers and NBA Street Volume 2. Kyrie Irving is a direct product of that, bro. So it's just like you need those reference points to get to where you are today. With that being said, no reference points, little to no like equipment nearly as advanced as now. Technology, recovery things, recovery methods, and all that stuff. Like none of that stuff really exists the same way that it does now. That considered to be what he's doing now and to be who he is now is or who he was then in his time. Wilt Chamberlain for sure is better than what a lot of people give him credit for. So that's why I got Wilt so high. And I'm gonna continue to say it, bro. I'm gonna continue to make people mad. It is what it is, bro. People say, "Oh, you trolling, you this and that," bro. Do the research, bro. Do the knowledge, man. That's it. That's all I'm saying, man. Do the knowledge, bro. Shout out to Wilt Chamberlain, bro. But yeah, that's what I had to say about that. Let me think. What else? Where are we going? Okay. Next thing, Don Robinson. So Don Robinson of En Vogue. Obviously, we did the video on her initially just announcing that she's been living out of her car for the past 3 years after some things went wrong where she was staying with managers and things of that sort of go well. She's just been staying in her car. She says she feels free, all of the things. So now here's her. Hold on. We don't have a volume, so I got to stop and then share the screen again and see if we get volume this time. But yeah, so she just went on Angela Yee, Way Up with Angela Yee. And yeah, let's see what she's talking about now, man.
Anybody from En Vogue reached out?
Shout out to Angela Yee too, Way Up. She's had some dope moments with interviews that she's leading. She was like the first and one of the only people to really get Layla to sit down for an interview. You know, if you know me, you know that Layla's one of my favorite artists at the time right now. And so I don't know. Salute to Angela Yee for sure.
Like watching that or seeing that, or do you still speak to them?
Good question. I was shocked by that. But they probably know I'm tired of going back and forth to the group. Every single time I go back, I go back. We have deals on the table that make sense to me and would make sense to anybody else who has a brain in their head. I'm sorry. I got to just speak truthful. This is who I am. They pick the wrong deal every single time. And so they know that I'm not going to come back and deal with their shenanigans again. So they're probably like, Dawn's not going to come back. No, I told them the last time we had the opportunity.
Wait, she in the house. Which house she in?
To do this the right way. Plus, Cindy and Terry have a member in the group that she's very nice to me. Like I said before, I did those 105 interviews in 2020. Very nice to me. Rona has
105 interviews in 2020.
Never done anything nefarious or nasty in my direction. I like her. She's a very nice person. I just wanted to celebrate our fans with just the four of us because Rona wasn't there from the beginning.
Okay.
And I just felt like it was, especially in what was it, 2020, that was our 20-year anniversary, was it? I think. So 2010 was our 20-year anniversary. So I wanted to share that with the fans, what we created from day one in the trenches, in living out of suitcases on the road and shaking hands, kissing babies and hugging fans. I wanted to give that to the fans ourselves without Rona around. And Cindy was like, it was just her and I in the room kind of going back to, because Terry kind of stands back and she lights the fire and then she acts like she doesn't do anything. So I'm sitting there and she always did that. That was Terry's MO. And I said to Cindy, she said, well, Dawn, you know how she talks like Dawn, but you've only been with us for 13 years. Rona's been with us for 13 years and you were only with us for 8. And I said, yeah, I understand that, but Rona hasn't brought a hit to you guys, not one. and Max
talking spicy. Van life got you talking spicy. Oh, hold on. Be respectful.
Dean and I bring hits. I saying the biggest hit that we have. Like, come on. I mean, no offense to Rona, but let's celebrate.
How you gonna say no offense? You ain't bring no hits. Yeah, she been there longer than I was, but she ain't bring no hits. No offense. That's like when people say all due respect, and then they say like the most disrespectful thing. All due respect, but your hairline kind of go with like that's crazy. That ain't no respect. What is the respect being due anyway?
When we did the Alicia Keys thing, I want to say 2007 or 8. The girls asked me to come back, and Alicia Keys made it very, very clear that she wanted the original 4.
Right.
She didn't want any stand-in. She did, no offense to anybody, but she wanted the original 4, and the girls understood that. And they told Rona that she could not be there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why is it that when Dawn says it, or the fans are saying it even, they're not paying attention to that? They're still ignoring it, like as if they don't hear what the fans are saying. The fans are making it very clear that they wanted me, Maxine, Cindy, and Terry. And I'm not going to be where I'm not wanted. So I'm not going to fight to get back into something. I've already come back every single time you guys ask me to come back. And then you make stupid decisions and I have to walk away.
Hold on to your love. I want to see where she at. Like, where was she doing this interview? That's what I'm interested in. So I'm gonna go look to see where she was doing this interview. Cause where was she? Who am I? Don. Oh, Angela Yee. Angela Yee. They have the audio out. Do they have the video out? I don't think they have the full video out.
You had been thinking about it, and you said, I want to do this car life thing.
I said I did research, which is crazy. It's like they're like, it's almost like people think that I was just like thrown into car life and I had she's just homeless. It's not that at all. I made a choice. Like I said, I could have stayed at the hotels, or I could have worked it out even with my manager to stay with him. Like, how can we make room in your apartment?
Living at hotels is not being that homeless, by the way.
And he has a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom. So it's like they saw what they wanted to see. They didn't see what I said. They made, like I said, they tore it apart and made certain parts like she's homeless, all this,
right.
And she's destitute and she needs money and let's help her. And I'm like, you guys, I love the ones that came for me. Like, I have a place, I have a room, an extra room. You could stay with me. I'm like, my car is right now temporarily my room, my home. But I'm building my life from here. It's like that. And somebody said, oh no, she's not homeless. Look at her nails. She got her nails. It's called polish. It's called.
And somebody also said she has an assistant. I saw Jermaine weighing in and saying, this is her choice. This is what she wants to do. She has an assistant. You're not, unhoused with an assistant.
Right, exactly. And for that comment, I was like, first of all, I've only met him once in my life, if that. I remember being around, but not directly meeting him. So I don't even think we said.
Yo, she kind of feisty. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. she be talking kind of crazy, bro. I ain't even gonna like I don't know the woman, I don't know Dom, but in these little clips, and then like we say, the things that we was looking at in the past, where she was like always falling out with people in groups and things. I'm like, hold on, she got a little kick to her.
Below and shook hands or gave a hug. So I was shocked. Usually artist to artist don't, you know what I mean? He's a producer, but he's still an artist. We don't attack each other like that. Ooh. Like you would swear that he knows me directly. Like he knows my story and why. It's like, where are you coming from? It was a shock, but I'm like.
Not too much on the mayor of Atlanta, man. That's my dog. You know what I'm saying? That's my dog, JD. Shout out to JD. But JD speaks on everything. Like, he's just a guy that's like, he's like constantly kind of like in the culture. Like, so he knows what's trending and he speaks on it. And he speaks on it publicly because it's like the conversations that the people are having. And I feel like it's almost a method for him to continue to make the best possible music now. He's 90s, 2000s, 2010s. He's 4 decades in now, right? and he's coming off some of his biggest hits of his career. Like Made for Me Money Long was like probably one of his biggest hits, like probably as big as I don't want to say Welcome to Atlanta because I feel like that's astronomical, but probably like Money Ain't a Thing is also like a rap staple, but it might be close to like Money Ain't a Thing, you know, for R&B for sure. And you know, the Ari Lennox records and stuff like he's making some big songs right now. And I think the only way that he's able to do that is still being connected with the culture, and you know, and that goes down to speaking about what the people are saying right here. Like he keeps the interns around him, he keeps the kids from Emory around him if you watch his vlogs, and he just talks to them of like, what are you listening to? What did you grow up listening to? Who do your parents listen to? Okay, that's the same stuff that I kind of came up with and I was listening to. So that's what we're listening to. This is what you guys are listening to. What's hot? Who's this? Who's that? Why is this good? Why, you know, all this stuff, like all of that. Like, shout out to the Jermaine Dupri. So when she's like, why is he speaking on me? Right? To be in tune with the culture, to make the best music.
Some people have to just be negative. And he doesn't know my story, so he's assuming, instead of reaching out to me directly and saying, hey, you know, I heard about your situation. What do you need? Are you okay?
You had been thinking about it, and you said, I want to do this car life thing.
Don, if you're watching this right now, if somebody sends you this video to you right now, what do you need from us? How can we help? You know what I'm saying? If we are going to keep making videos speaking about your situation and the reaction of people to your reaction situation, and your reaction to people's reaction about your reaction of announcing that you're living in your car and you have been for the past 3 years, how can we, the people, the fans, the journalists, the media, the bloggers, the YouTubers, how can we help instead of just speaking about your situation? Please let us know. Thank you.
We got a lot of angels this season.
So if any of y'all know Don,
and
y'all want to put it in the comments, feel free to put it in the comments. I'll pin it, and we'll do it like that. Because I mean, what she's saying is true. Hold on, let me subscribe to you. But what she's saying is true. It just is what it is. Like, are we gonna keep talking about her because it is the trending topic, and then we kind of go about our day and move on to the next thing, Delonte West? Or are we gonna be like, dang, all right, this is going on. We'll talk about it. It's kind of crazy. Just kind of like something that doesn't really happen to this level. How can we help? It's like, have you guys seen the DeBarge thing? I don't know if I know I've spoken about it before, but I don't know if I ever showed it. But I know they'll probably like demonetize this and stuff like that if you look at the. But yeah.
What's the brother? I'll come out and deal with you.
Are you playing the bass and I Like It?
Yeah.
And that song, I know you wrote the lyrics. What inspired that?
I just started thinking I like it. I was actually thinking about, I was kind of hungry. I was thinking about burger. Ooh, when I like it, I like it. You know what's fun every time I take one look at you.
I got
when I like it, you send chills up my spine every time.
I ain't gonna lie to you. This is for sure gonna get me out the paint, boy. That was about 5 seconds. Oh, I'm out the paint. Let me see. Hold on.
Me and El knew it when we heard it, when you were playing it, we knew it was a hit right off the top. That's why we ran upstairs. That's when we stopped everything we were doing. We ran upstairs to jam with you. First words came out of his mouth to you was, Randy, that's a hit, man. See what I mean? All right, man.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Love you, bro. Come back and we'll jam, all right?
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
That's obviously not a tour bus. That's where they're living because there's way too much stuff. They got the instruments there. They got the dog there, and yeah. When does this come out? When does this come out? Can I see it? What's this? Glam Dance? Let me look this up. The Barge. The Barge documentary 2025. Let me see. Sundance is coming out at Sundance. Sundance, it already passed. It was in February. Let me see. So they just showing it just period. Dang, I wish I could have been out at Sundance then. When is it coming out in movies? They got, I guess, since they went through the thing. I hope they got to get money off of this, right? New DeBarge documentary explores bands Legacy, James and Randy living in RVs. There we go. A new documentary set to debut at Slam Dance Film Festival offers a candid look at the lives of James and Randy DeBarge, two former members of the iconic 1980s R&B group who now live in RVs on the streets of Los Angeles. Dang, the film DeBarge, directed by Matthew Sereda, was filmed over several years and wrapped in 2021 following the passing of Tommy DeBarge, a member of funk band Switch. Dang. A legacy of music and struggles. DeBarge rose to fame in the early 1980s as Motown's next big family act, often compared to the Jacksons. I think it's like the Jacksons, DeBarge, and then since then, Infinity Song, bro. If you're not hip to the Infinity Song, check out Infinity Song. I think they are like the best. Hands down, the best Black sibling family group since DeBarge, bro. And then Jackson 5. If you want to count Ray Sherman is up there. You might laugh, and it's hip hop. I don't know, people say things about hip hop. Bro, I wasn't even sharing this tab, dude. What in the world is going on? I wasn't even sharing this tab. But Ray Sherman, you can say what you want. It's hip hop and everything like that. And they had No Flags On and all those things. But like, Ray Sherman was it, bro. In 2015, Sherman Life 1, y'all wasn't outside. Y'all was not outside. But anyway, I'm going to read this from the top again. New DeBarge documentary explores band's legacy, James and Randy living in RVs. A new documentary set to debut at Slam Dance Film Festival offers a candid look at the lives of James and Randy DeBarge, two former members of the iconic 1980s R&B group who now live in RVs on the streets of Los Angeles. The film DeBarge, directed by Matthew Sereda, was filmed over several years and wrapped in 2021 following the death of their brother, Tommy DeBarge, a member of the funk band Switch. A legacy of music and struggles. DeBarge rose to fame in the early 1980s as Motown's next big family act, often compared to the Jacksons. The group's hits include All This Love, I Like It, and Rhythm of the Night made them a household name. Their music has continued to influence contemporary R&B and hip-hop, such as acts as Notorious B.I.G., Tupac, Blackstreet, and Ashanti sampling their work. Despite their musical success, personal struggles, including legal trouble and substance abuse, led to a turbulent decline. The new documentary delves into these challenges, focusing on James DeBarge, Janet Jackson's first husband. What? I'm sorry. I didn't like, first of all, I'm young. Second of all, I didn't watch their unsung or anything like that. So this is like news to me, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm young. Life on the Streets. A recently released clip of DeBarge shows James, 61, and Randy, 66, living in RVs in Los Angeles, highlighting the stark contrast between their past fame and current reality. According to a synopsis from Slamdance, the film explores the DeBarge family struggles with fame, addiction, and their bond as they navigate life together through difficult circumstances. The documentary features appearances from surviving DeBarge members Elle and Bunny, as well as archive footage of Tommy DeBarge and their mother, Etta Lorraine Louise Rodriguez, who passed away last February. God rest her soul. Screenings and future releases. DeBarge premiered at Panasonic Lumix Theater on February 23rd, with another screening following on February 24th at Los Angeles Times Theater. While a streaming link has been created for the Serviceplex, an official release date had not been released. Story that needs to be told. The DeBarge family's story is one of talent, tragedy, and resilience. This documentary sheds light on their continued struggles while paying homage to the legacy they built in the music industry. For fans of R&B and music history, DeBarge offers an intimate, eye-opening portrait of a family whose impact on music remains undeniable. Wow. Who wrote this? This is well written, bro. MSR News Online. But it says original reporting by Keenan Higgins. Keenan Higgins, amazing reporting. Shout out to MSR, 90 years of impact. Yes, sir. Shout out to Minnesota, everybody. You call it Minnesota. But wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. It just reminds me of this. Like, it's just something, the Don Richard story is something that Don Robinson, excuse me. I keep saying Don Richard. The Don Robinson story is just something that it's just weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, what in the world is going on? I'm trying to figure this out. The sharing of the tabs. I got 2 tab things popped up. I'm trying to figure it out. But yeah, let me see if I do it like this. Okay. Now I can get back regularly. It's something that people are going to be interested in. It just is what it is, And that's what it is. So yeah, there's that. Let's go to no. Let's go to podcasters. Podcasters don't want to be called journalists. From Jules Turpak. I just saw the trailer for it. She put like a reel out, and I thought it was very interesting. She got Mark Cuban on here a few months ago. I don't know. It seems like she puts a lot of time.
It doesn't matter what your goal is. Making a resume, writing.
Once again, no ads. I'm going to get YouTube bread once we hit 5,000 subs. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you sub up. No ads when I'm reacting to stuff anymore after that, for sure.
It was just reported that more than 1 billion people are now watching podcasts on YouTube every month. That is absolutely wild.
It's a whole new world out there.
It's a different world.
Podcasts are more culturally relevant than they've ever been. And with that, something interesting is happening. Because journalism popularized the formal published interview format as we recognize it today, a lot of your favorite podcasters often get deemed journalists, or at least get asked about how they think about journalism, regardless of if they've ever claimed that role.
Do you think of yourself as a journalist then, in a way?
Did you study media, journalism, anything like that? There's a lot of people who refer to us as journalists.
And
I get very uncomfortable with that.
So, as traditional media struggles to keep up with independent, personality-driven media in the attention economy, a question that arises is, are podcasters replacing journalists? The other month, I received an email from Mike Isaac, a New York Times journalist, which said, I found it interesting to see the rising trend of CEOs and major tech figures going direct to audience via long-form podcast interviews with folks like Dwarkesh Patel, Lex Fridman, and I believe yourself as well. In other words, doing sit-downs with folks outside of the establishment media sphere, meaning companies like my employer. I'd love to get your thoughts on why you think it's working, or as a strategy on the tech company's part, and what folks like yourself have to offer that traditional media does not, as well as what got you interested in doing it in the first place. There's so much to say about the current state of podcasting, and I'm very excited to talk about this as someone who, like Mike mentioned, is within this new sphere, but not only that, I'm also very excited to talk about this as someone who is 4 things. 1, often deemed a journalist, even though I never initially set out to be, and while I prioritize the practice and principles of journalism, still wouldn't deem myself that today. 2, a power consumer of podcasts, and someone who credits them for exposing me to information that changed my perspective and life for the better, especially in like 2018, 2019. Around then, Rogan, H3, and so on were my goats. 3, deeply intuitively curious about the evolution of media, and I have a lot of feedback on the current role that podcasts play within our information ecosystem. And lastly, 4, chronically online. So we're about to bring in a lot of the biggest names in podcasting into this conversation. Let's start by laying out.
All right, so this is an hour and a half. I thought it was just like a 12-minute video because the reel was like a minute and it was very engaging. So I'm not going to watch the full thing on stream. If I finish it and I want to discuss it, if enough people are like interested in it, I'll do it for the people. But I think my initial answers to what the guy asked her when he emailed her, it's a few things. And it's something I discussed already when I was talking about how some fans know more than journalists and the media nowadays when it comes to basketball. Like, I'm in a sports space, so that's what I deal with directly the most. And I think it honestly just comes down to journalists being professionally trained. And like the point of journalism is to get out the truth. not to make you feel comfortable and make you share what you're comfortable with sharing, it often makes the subjects feel uncomfortable because it's like you're going in there not knowing what to expect, because if you're practicing the right way of journalism, like you're not telling them the questions ahead of time, and you're not like, okay, you can have the interview before we put it out, right? And the questions are not all sweet. It's not all good. It's not all goody two shoes. It's literally like hard hitting, uncomfortable things to set out the truth. It's supposed to be down the middle as possible. And that can be scary because, like, for the person on the subject, they're scared. Am I going to say the wrong thing? Because if I say the wrong thing, it becomes a whole thing. Dolce went in a whole alternate story form interview where her DJ was just reading questions on a card that the little drinking game people gave her with the white studio background, you know what I'm saying? And she said that straight men was a red flag for her. Ever since then on Twitter, everything Dolce has been hated on. Oh, if you're a bot, you listen to Dolce. Like, Dolce has bots. She has so and so million followers, listeners a month. That can't be true. These are all bots. Dolce isn't better than Young Thug. Dolce isn't better than Lucky. Dolce is terrible. Oh, boo Dolce. And it all started from really, the excuse to hate Dolce came from, the interview of her DJ reading questions that the little red background gave her. And it's sad, man. It's sad. So it's like artists, athletes, any subject of an interview, in this case, tech CEOs, they're scared to go to a journalist, a traditional journalist, because you can slip up and say the wrong thing through the course of an hour-long interview where questions you didn't know coming up, versus if you go to a blogger, a YouTuber, alternate media platform, then it's going to be guaranteed more lighthearted. If they're not trained, then they might be more likely to kind of lean into like supporting you and making it more of a fluff thing of just like bigging them up. Like, you're Mark Cuban. You know what I'm saying? I didn't watch the Mark Cuban interview on her channel, like I just said, but imagine like just 2 minutes of, you're Mark Cuban, you're so awesome, you're the this and that, versus asking, so what happened with it? That's more of a journalist, right? Because they're just there to get the truth. They don't care if you like them. They don't care if you don't like them. They just want the truth. That's their only job. You know what I'm saying? So it could be a bit different when you're going to a fellow tech CEO's podcast, or you're going to a YouTuber's podcast and stuff like that. That's the difference. And that's why people are going to a streamer or a YouTuber versus traditional media. And then plus, like Russ said this a couple months ago, but he was like, also traditional media just doesn't have the same amount of motion that these streamers and other content creators have. Like, if I go on Kai Cenat, I'm guaranteed to be in front of an audience of 100,000 viewers. If it's the Mafia Don, it's probably like 500,000 people watching. Right now on DDG stream, 23,000 people are watching DDG make a song with the baby. If nobody clicks on the song, he's got to guarantee like 100,000 views on the video just from people who came in and watched these guys make the song tonight. A guaranteed 100,000. So it's clearly going to be more than that, because the clip channels are going to post them recording the song and the final song product, right? That's going to get at least 500,000 views. So like, it's a guaranteed 1 million views, 1 million plays, 1 million streams on a song if you do it on a stream with DDG, or if you do it on a stream with Black Boy Max. Like, it's a guaranteed hit almost. If you're a big enough artist, it's a guaranteed hit. Why not do that? So I'll do that, where I can get a whole nother song that's going to be popular, guaranteed popular, because I did it on a stream and people feel like they were a part of it. And the clip channels are going to post it. So that's free promotion because I made the song on the stream. Plus, I just got 100,000 people watching me talking about what I got coming out, as opposed to I go to the New York Times and it gets 15,000 views on the New York Times site, because more people on the New York Times that they were worried about the breaking news that happened in Kansas or some other part of the United States, or what Trump did and stuff like that. So when you look at it like that, it's kind of like just it's fun. They're not going to put me in uncomfortable positions of answering questions I really don't want to ask. I'm going to have a good time, and I'm going to have more eyes on me. If I'm a basketball player and I go to Angel Reese podcast, I'm guaranteed to get 100,000 views on this episode. So it's a great PR move. It's a great use of time. And it's Angel Reese. It's another WNBA player. It's another professional athlete. I know Angel Reese is going to ask me the stuff that I don't want to be asked and uncomfortable things, because she doesn't want to be asked uncomfortable things and things that she doesn't want to be asked as a fellow professional athlete. So that's just how it is, man. And I think that's just the current state of bloggers and podcasters not wanting to be called journalists, and kind of like that entire balance of things. So that's what I think with that. And it's something I kind of said before, another way of saying it, iteration of it. But yeah, that's what I think. So the final thing of the night before we get out of here and go to sleep, because it is 12 midnight Central Time, 1 a.m. Eastern, and I got to go to the office tomorrow. So yeah, I got to go to sleep soon. The last thing is Marvin Sapp. He stops the service to demand his congregation to raise $40,000 before they leave. He told the deacons, the ushers, to close the doors of the church at the end of the service. I don't know if this is new or old. The camera quality insinuates that it's old. However, he's talking about if you're giving with the phone, at least when they pass the bucket, tap your phone on the bucket to symbolize that you're giving, your money and stuff like that. So what he was saying in this, I'll play some of it.
And they understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said, close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. This, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. I'm challenging each of you all down here.
So, like, church, the thing is, you could look at Marvin Sapp and be like, doesn't he have the money? He's Marvin Sapp. What you have to learn with business is, like, you don't pay out of your pocket to pay for your other businesses. The business has to pay for the business. So, like, he has to keep the light bills on and pay for all the bills in the church through tithes and offering. Like, that's the only way he could pay it, because it goes through the business. It's the business of the church for this, the business of his music ministry for his personal riches, and whatever he might use it for, future music opportunities and tours and all of those things, resources for future albums, stuff like that. So I get where he's coming from. At the same time, forcing people, locking the doors, we not leaving until everybody gives $20 online and in person to raise $40,000, I think can come across a bit hostile, and it's kind of almost arrogant, because he said, like, it's just $20. I used to take my girl out, my late wife, God rest her soul, I used to take her out for $20. $20 is nothing. You can't assume everybody in that congregation just has $20 to give. If the word, what I'm saying, the New Testament tells us 10%, and what if some person's 10% for that week of their earnings was $200? Like, the 10% will technically be $20. But if it was less than that, or they're unemployed, they didn't make any money that week. Like, who are we to just say that everybody just has $20 in the congregation? All 1,000 people or a couple thousand people in congregation and online have it. Some of the people watching online might be watching online because they don't have $20 to put in their gas tank to drive down to the church. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think, especially as I would assume, like I said, I'm assuming here, but just based off of kind of like the watch that Marvin Sapp has on right now and the success of Never Would Have Made It alone. And we're not even talking about The Best of Me, right? We're just talking about the success of Never Would Have Made It, this one song. I would assume that Marvin Sapp is well off, enough to kind of be out of reality, out of touch of reality. And so, like, if you're out of touch of reality type of wealthy, personally, who are you to really tell a quote unquote regular person what $20 is? $20 ain't nothing. Well, I mean, you're probably worth a couple $1,000,000. You made he saw the you may never would have made it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, not only is that song like extremely popular in churches and at funerals and services and all of these things, and then that world, it's also like the little remix of that and the what the and what it is what's up can it that's played in the club every week, like every week at some point. It's a never like that remix is played every week in the club, bro. Like, so Never Would Have Made It is making money, dude, by itself. This ain't even, like I said, the best of me. This ain't even the songs that you were doing when you were part of like John B. Key and Kurt Franklin and all these other like bands and stuff like that. Like, I was watching this Tiny Desk, amazing Tiny Desk, by the way. Shout out Marvin Sapp, amazing musician. And a nice person. I met him too, just kind of on a couple of occasions working at my old job at Rolling Out. But you know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is, dude is probably just out of touch with reality. So it's like when you're out of touch with reality, you kind of have to check yourself and be like, dang, $20 might not be nothing to me, but when was the last time that like $20 was something? It was probably, if I had to guess, if Never Would Have Made It came out 2009, right? Say 2006 was the last time when you were still in, gospel groups and things of that sort, and you had major records that you were part of, but you weren't the leading guy. You weren't Marvin Sapp. Never Would Have Made it. Wasn't that. It was whatever band or, ensemble choir you were a part of at that time. Say it was 2006. 2006, $20 is way different than 2025, $20. And I feel like you can't say what $20 is and everything like that to a bunch of people in the congregation, because everybody's situation is different, which we all know about. So that's how I feel about the situation. I do agree with him that giving is biblical, tithing is biblical. Whether or not it's 10% is, some people say that's up for debate if someone tinkered that in the word and things of that sort. However, sacrifice is required and things of that sort, whether it's through monetary or, like right now is Lent, I'm fasting. So whether it's through fasting, whether it's through this, sacrifice is required for a relationship with God, or whether we're dying to ourselves daily, whatever the case might be, right? So I agree with all of those things. At the same time, close the doors, we not leaving until we get 40,000. It's just $20, y'all. I know y'all got it. Is insane work. That's insane work. And I hope this reaction and viral reaction and all of these people reacting to it and commentated it online, I hope some of it gets back to Marvin Sapp and he can really sit down, or even if it's kids or family or cousins, uncles, aunties, nieces, nephews, call them up and tell them like, hey, yo, unc, like, so about $20. We're kind of going through a tough time in America right now if you haven't been really paying attention to the economy, and everybody just don't have $20 like that. What if these were someone's last $20 and they needed that $20 to get back home from church today? If you consider that, people probably drove far to go to the church to see Marvin Sapp this weekend, and like that was their only $20, bro. When they go to church, they go in for free. It's not a concert where you got to pay $20 to get in for the ticket and things like that. It's church. It's a church service. It should be free will, because free will is what you're given in Christianity and in the Bible. That's kind of like the entire point, and the way it's different from different religions and walks of life of spirituality. So that's what I have to say about that, man. I hope this gets back to Marvin Sapp, and I hope he addresses it. It might be old, like I said. Let me look up and see if I can see anything on Twitter right now that of him addressing the video. I'll even Google it if I need to give. It. Nah, a lot of people. This might be new, bro. People talking about this right now. I know he gonna respond to something that. They talking about page pickers. Bro, this is the first thing that comes up on Google, bro. I put in Marvin Sapp. It said Marvin Sapp $40,000. This is yo. When was this? This was last week. Yo, this is crazy. I did not know this. This was a big deal. Well, obviously he's seen it. I want to see what he says when he comes back. What's up, Jordan? What's good, man? I'm about to get off stream, but the replay is going to be up soon. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good day. All those good things, a beautiful blessings and energy towards your way. Grand rising, as someone would say. All of the things, man. Blessings, sunlight, positivity, optimism, prosperity. All those things to you for sure. $40,000 if you got it. But yeah, man, I want to see Marvin Sapp's response. Like, he don't have a response yet. It's been viral for a week. He didn't have one response. I guess I'll go here. Just to be petty. I'll be petty for a second. Let's go petty real quick. I think they saying 4 right here. Pop-ups. But they saying 4 right here. Yeah, they saying 4 on here too. 4 mil. Whether or not that's true, they're usually at least ballpark. In the ballpark, the little Google networks. 4 mil, you begging for 40,000. Hey, make it make sense, man. But get it how you live. My name is Rashad Milligan. As always, man, you guys please take care of yourself. I see some people in the chat. Blessings and prosperity, optimism, sunlight, gazer, get all those things to you, man. The replay of this live will be up expeditiously, so you can go on the same link or whatever, and then I'll be uploading the stuff all throughout the night. Y'all take care of yourselves. I appreciate the support so much. As always, if you're new to the channel, this is the road to 5K subs. You all please have a great morning, have a great night, have a great middle of the day. Until next time.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
Good question.
We can't ask Rashad a question.
Hey, Rashad.